Hello, my name is Sue Jones, a registered nurse with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and I am certified in nephrology nurse. I grew up in a small town south of Knoxville, Tennessee. I married young and moved to Detroit, Michigan. I worked as a nursing assistant at Holy Cross Hospital in Detroit. During my annual performance review, one of my nursing supervisors suggested and encouraged me to apply to Henry Ford Hospital School of Nursing. I graduated in 1977. I've always wanted to be a nurse, and I became a nurse so that I could have an impact on lives of others. And I wanted a career that felt meaningful to me. To become a nurse, it is important to take math, chemistry, biology, anatomy, and physiology courses. It's challenging and often difficult to stay focused, and at times you feel overwhelmed. I would encourage you to stay the course, ask your counselor for a tutor, and join study groups. In the end, it will be time well spent. As a nurse, many opportunities will open up to you. Travel nurses are getting bonus pay starting at $5,000 per week. Now nurses have opportunities to rotate to different departments of medicine within hospitals, like emergency departments, medical, surgical, pediatric, labor and delivery, critical care, intensive care units, just to name a few. Experience in each of these departments are important for your growth. Today, nurses have many options, areas to work: pharmaceuticals, sales, research and development, outpatient medicine, and telehealth. In 1981, I moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I became interested in nephrology, hemodialysis, while working in critical care. I noticed that I was admitting a lot of patients with end-stage renal failure due to diabetes and hypertension. In 1987, I became certified in nephrology so that I could better understand the functions of the kidneys. Let me walk you through a typical day of a hemodialysis nurse. I can assure you that no 2 days working in a hemodialysis unit are the same. First, you have to put your PPEs on, verify the patient's name and equipment, and then weigh the patient, and you compare the pre-weight with the post-weight and determine how much water must be calculated and removed during a 4-hour treatment. You perform your assessment, you check the blood pressures, you check the temperature, you check the breath sounds, you check the fluids in the lungs, you check the legs for swelling. You have to document all your findings. You have to prep the graft, the fistula, the sites for cannulation. You have to check all the machine settings for safety alarms. You initiate the dialysis treatment and you monitor the vital signs. You administer medication as per the nephrologist's orders, and the nurse works with the team. The team is the nephrologist, the renal social worker, the dietitian, the patient care technician, the patient's family, to provide the best quality care possible. The nurse will do this process in the span of 45 minutes for 4 patients and monitor the patients for 3 to 4 hours and terminate their treatments and start the process for the next 4 patients. The patients with end-stage renal disease requires hemodialysis treatments 3 to 4 times a week to live. For you and I, our kidneys work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to remove toxins and water. So nephrology is a specialty. Being a nurse allows for work-life balance because often the nurse works their days, 3 days a week, 10 to 12-hour shifts. As a nurse, you can manage your shift change, days, evening, nights, based on your lifestyle. I've done private duty. I've even been a charge nurse, a facility administrator. operations director. I've managed 41 outpatient and inpatient hemodialysis facilities. I set goals for myself. So my goals were to work hard and advance in my positions. I sent my 3 daughters to college and retired before I was 65. I moved to Florida. I have to say, I have achieved those goals. My one daughter is a medical office manager. One is an advanced nurse practitioner in fertility. The other is an optometrist, and I retired at the golden age of 56. And today, I am 72 years old. I can tell you that nursing has been a rewarding career for me, and hopefully you will seek nursing as enjoy the benefits. My husband and I love to travel. We have traveled to Turkey, Africa, Asia, Greece, Europe, and have visited 35 of the 50 states in the U.S. I will always have a passport and be ready to take the advantage of last-minute cruise deals when COVID is over. I play tennis, I play canasta, and other card games with friends. So for those of you interested in following the career path of nursing, there are many scholarships, grants, and low-interest loans available to you. Please look into taking the advantage of these options and talking with your career guidance counselor. Reasons to become a nurse is employability, the nurse to nursing shortage. You have many job opportunities in other states. Electronics will never replace the human nursing hands. Nursing salaries are competitive and provides a good wage. Don't lose sight of your dreams. So stay in healthcare, stay the course, and spend the time. You will be rewarded. Nursing is considered a noble and highly trusted profession. As I stated earlier, I am certified in nephrology. My specialty is in kidney disease. We have 2 kidneys, and they're located under the rib cage here. And people with kidney failure, their kidneys are not properly functioning to clear the toxins and the water. So we are dialyzing our patients with an artificial kidney. As you can see, the size of this kidney, it cannot be placed in the body. So therefore, we use a machine to cleanse the patient's blood. The filter inside that artificial kidney looks like so. You can see the blood never comes in contact with this little filter. It is surrounded around this casing. Prior to the initiation of the dialysis treatment, a nurse would need to have her protective equipment, a mask, safety goggles, gloves, and in this circumstance would have her uniform and would wear protective equipment to protect her clothes. The nurse would identify the patient with their name, with the wristband, and also identify that the machine that was going to be used for the patient would have the patient's name. Also, the dialyzer would have the patient's name. The blood pressure would be monitored, the temperature would be monitored, and the size of the needle that would be utilized for the patient would be identified. We would have tape to secure the needle in place, and the patient would be moved to the recliner chair and weight. Pre-weight would be taken and compared to the last post-weight after the hemodialysis treatment, and a calculation would be made as to how much water would need to be removed during that patient's treatment. As you can see, we have initiated this patient's treatment. The arterial line would be that I'm taking blood away, and I know that because I'm looking at the red would indicate arterial, means I am removing blood from the patient. The venous line means I am returning the blood back to the patient. That means that I have taken the blood away from the patient and I have ran it through the artificial kidney. It has come in contact with the dialysate solution and it has removed the toxin. And because I've made calculations to remove the water and the time has been set to run this patient on the machine for 4 hours, and then how much water is going to be removed through the 4-hour treatment so that the patient will leave with less fluid on board, meaning weight, when they leave the facility. And blood pressure will be monitored throughout this whole process, and the patient's treatment after the 4 hours will be terminated. The blood pressure will be stable. The access site will be, needles will be removed. The homeostasis, meaning that the sites will no longer be bleeding, and the patient will be then ready to be discharged home. As a nephrology nurse, it is imperative that we talk with the patient with end-stage renal disease about their diet. Patients have to be very careful with sodium, potassium, with phosphorus. So a part of being a nurse is being an educator. So it fulfills your day that you have provided the patient another opportunity to go home to be with their families. The patients come to us for their treatment 3 times a week, 52 weeks a year, to live another day. That's my passion, and I'm hopeful that working as a nurse, specializing in dialysis, being a certified nephrology nurse, will be one that you will be interested in as well. Thank you.